Hello, 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 and good afternoon. Today is Friday, y'all. We made it. We made it to Friday. Some of us celebrate that, and I am one of those. Some of us, I love to see a Friday coming. I love to see a Friday coming, and it's even better when it's payday. So I hope that this broadcast finds you well. I hope you are excited for the weekend and the week hasn't really taken too much out of you. I do like to enjoy a cup of something warm in the afternoon. So, taking a late lunch, and I have a little small cup of coffee here with me. Today is episode 10. This marks episode 10 of December Things, which is a series that's sort of a daily upload or live stream during the week. And it's meant to promote mental wellness, uplift, encourage, and inspire those who come across it. So let me know if you're catching the replay. By all means, leave me a comment that says replay so I can know that you were here. This is my first time doing a YouTube series, and I think I may continue with a monthly theme. Maybe I'll have to go back and look at some analytics, listen to these live streams, see what resonated and what didn't, and then go from there. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about persistence, which is good on episode 10. I think of persistence is kind of making sure you show up for yourself and just, having a mindset that you're just going to get stuff done by any means necessary. Seeing things through to the end or pressing on, as the old folks say. I have a lot of elderly women in my family. I grew up listening to the elders, um, and taking in wisdom. So one of the things they used to say was pressing on, pressing on. So persistence, I kind of think of as pressing on until the end or until you get whatever desired result it is that you're looking for. Sometimes it can be kind of challenging, yes. Um, Particularly if finances are involved or if there is sort of an emotional roller coaster you got to get on to get it done. Other people in your way, not being patient, not being able to make choices right away, being indecisive, doubting yourself. A whole lot of things come into play when you think about persistence. But it's my hope that there was something this year that you've done and were able to gain clarity through by being persistent, and that you take that clarity into next year and build upon it even more. I'm a firm believer that you should not enter the year, I'm talking maturity level wise, you don't finish the year the same way you started it. Along the way, there were some lessons, whether you've recognized them or not, whether I've recognized them or not. There definitely have been lessons. And I feel like it's up to us to kind of take those into the next chapter of our lives, be it the next year, the next job, the next relationship, the next friendship, the next whatever. So, in terms of being persistent, I kind of thought about it a little bit and some of the things that I've experienced when trying to get a certain thing done and making sure that I'm persistent about showing up and getting it done is, your inner critic, as people talk about all the time. Sometimes we can be our worst enemy. We tell ourselves things that aren't true. We make up narratives in our heads based on assumptions that we've created by something we interpreted the way it wasn't meant to be interpreted. So that can happen. And, if it hasn't happened yet, keep on living because the time is definitely coming. sometimes when we have things in mind that we want to show up for, we often wonder if we're good enough. A couple years back, imposter syndrome was one of those things that was just kind of tossed around all the time. Y'all, as a life coach, I got so tired of hearing about imposter syndrome and the inner critic. And but I mean, I understood because the wellness space. Good morning, Deborah Ray. Well, it's afternoon for me. Good afternoon. The wellness space is just like any other space, always evolving. And there are certain terms that become trendy. There are certain things that, go viral at the moment to talk about. But I'm kind of an old school girl. I'm like the nuts and bolts of things. I don't care what fancy term I put on something, I always revert back to the basic meaning. And in thinking about being persistent in some of those things that can come up for us that can be hindrances, like imposter syndrome, if you think about it, imposter syndrome ain't nothing but doubt. That's it. We put a big fancy label on stuff and charge people a lot of money to talk to them about their problems. And it's like you're doubting yourself. You're fearful of the unknown. You're fearful of what things that you perceive may happen. Doubt and fear is all it is. I think this is probably a good topic. I'm going to cover it one day next month, because at the beginning of the year, people love to start new things and then come up with all these reasons why they aren't going to work. And when I say people, I'm talking about me, because I've been there. So imposter syndrome is definitely one of those things that can get in the way of persistence. When I think of persistence, I like to say that folks are hell bent on doing whatever it is they want to do, and I feel like persistence is a good trait to have. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you in thinking mode, and it keeps you measuring one milestone to the next. So if you have something in particular you're trying to achieve, typically you set it up to where the one big goal is at the end, but you have multiple small processes and steps to get there. And being persistent in making sure that you reach those milestones is what's going to carry you forward. That doesn't mean that you don't need to rest every now and then. That doesn't mean you don't detour off the path. Hey Mo, how you doing? Be safe out there. That just means that you know in your mind what you need to do, and you continue to move forward in doing that. So the beauty of persistence, I think, is that once we're on the other side of whatever we were trying to get through or get to, if it was something that was a test, resilience and gratefulness then step in and lead the rest of the way forward. Right? You're like, man, I made it through that. I persevered. That's another, for people who like words in academics, perseverance can be considered persistence as well. So persistence loves to operate along with faith, perspective, confidence, and optimism. Like all those things kind of fall into a bucket and make what I like to think of as a kind of a positivity soup. People used to tell me all the time, I like coming to talk to you because you can find a silver lining in anything. And there is a silver lining in everything. People may not be ready to receive what it is at the moment because feelings are fresh. Give them time. Man, if they come back and ask you your perspective on certain things, then you give it to them. So persistence is definitely a trait I think we should carry with us into 2025. It's how I've gotten where I am, and I consider myself to be, pretty successful by my own definition of what I wanted to accomplish in life. I've done that. And so now I am looking sort of to pivot, and I'll take that same mindset of persistence with me. We talked about making sure you get a good laugh in yesterday. I humor definitely, I wouldn't say it leads to the way with me, but it's up there. So for today's thought, let the fact that this is episode 10 of this little podcast that I just decided to do on a whim. I sat down one night, the idea popped into my head, and I said, let me sit down and write it down right now before I forget. And I talked about getting things out of your head in, I think it might have been episode 4. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But had I just walked around and did whatever I was doing and not sit down and capture this particular thought, I wouldn't be showing up every day for this December things live podcast, broadcast, whatever you want to call it. I'm still trying to kind of streamline it. And so I appreciate those of you who show up every day and listen to me blab, blah, 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 blah. We did get some good laughs in yesterday, and that's always a good thing. So that's all I have for today. I keep saying I'm going to try to keep these short. And then yesterday, I'm just like, whatever, whichever way the wind blows, just go with it. So thank you for listening. Don't ever give up on what you have in mind to accomplish. Put it on the shelf if you need to. Take a break and come back to it. I've done that several times as well. But always show up for yourself. Always keep on going. Always have that drive. No matter what hurdles come your way, no matter what obstacles are thrown your way, be persistent. Continue to show up. Continue to be hell-bent on achieving what it is you have in mind, despite what other people try to throw your way or what circumstances may come your way. Thank you for listening. That is the end of today's episode, and I will see you again on Monday for episode 11 of December Things. Have a good weekend, y'all. Toodles.